Hello everyone, welcome to this video on the topic Introduction to Web Server. A web server is a dedicated computer responsible for running websites sitting out on those computers somewhere on the internet. They are specialized programs that circulate web pages as summoned by the user. The primary objective of any web server is to collect, process and provide web pages to the users. When any user requests their web browser to run any web page, the web server places all the data materials together into an organized web page and forwards them back to the web browser with the help of the internet. This intercommunication of a web server with a web browser is done with the help of a protocol named HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Now let's see how do web servers work. The term web server can denote server hardware or server software, or in most cases both hardware and software. On the hardware side, a web server is defined as a computer that stores software and another website raw data such as HTML files, images, text documents and JavaScript files. The hardware of the web servers are connected to the web and supports the data exchange with different devices connected to the internet. On the software side, a web server includes server software accessed through website domain names. It controls how web users access the web files and ensures the supply of website content to the end user. The web server contains several components including the HTTP server. Whenever any web browser like Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Firefox requests for a web page hosted on a web server, the browser will process the request forward with the help of HTTP. At the server end, when it receives the request, the HTTP server will accept the request and immediately start looking for the requested data and forwards it back to the web browser via HTTP. Let's see the step-by-step process of what happens whenever a browser approaches the web server and requests a web file or a file. First, any web user is required to type the URL of the web page in the address bar of your web browser. With the help of the URL, your web browser will fetch the IP address of your domain name either by converting the URL via domain name system or by looking for the IP in the cache memory. The IP address will direct your browser to the web server. After making the connection, the web browser will request for the web page from the web server with the help of an HTTP request. As soon as the web server receives this request, it immediately responds by sending back to the requested page or file to the web browser HTTP. If the web page requested by the browser does not exist or if there occurs some error in the process, the web server will return an error message. If there occurs no error, the browser will successfully display the web page. Next, the examples of web server users. The web servers are mostly used for sending and receiving mails on internet by using SMTP, that is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, then fetching request for file transfer protocol, that is FTP files, then designing and developing and also publishing the websites. Web server security methods. Though there are various security techniques available in the market that a user can implement to have a safe web server experience, here we have some examples of security practices that can include processes. First one, reverse proxy. It is a proxy server that is accessible to the clients, therefore hiding the internal server. It acts as an intermediary as wherever any user makes request to the web server for any data or files, the proxy server seizes those requests and then communicates with the web server. Next, access restriction. It is a technique that limits the web host access to infrastructure machines or using secure socket shell. Next, keeping web servers maintained and updated, as it benefits to ensure the web server is not vulnerable to exposures. Next, network monitoring. It is a security practice that ensures that no unauthorized activity is going on the web server. Next, using a firewall and SSL safeguards. The web server as firewalls can supervise HTTP request traffic, while a secure sockets layers supports securing the data. So this is about the basics of web server.